32. I now call to order the regular meeting of the Roman Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees. Today is Monday, December 12th, 2022, time 6:32. All board members present except Kevin Kelly, he is absent. So I verify we have a quorum of board members present in the boardroom per provisions of the Texas Open Meetings Act. Mr. Carter, will you verify that we comply with the Texas Open Meetings Act provisions concerning the notice of this meeting?
We do.
Mr. Davidson, you be so nice to bring us word of dedication.
Yes, sir. Father, we thank you for this day. Thank you for all you do for us. Thank you for blessing us with this school and this community, God. We thank you for all that serve, the staff and coaches, teachers, all of them, Lord. We just ask, Lord, that you would somehow unite us and give us wisdom, Father, as a board, as we gather information, as we make decisions, Lord, that it would be pleasing to you and it would set these young people up to prepare them for life. And so, Lord, just bless this gathering tonight. Let it be useful of our time and to benefit this school. Lord, we thank you. We ask you to guide us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Yes, this time we'll open a public meeting. Wording. Public hearing taking place with resolution designating Hill Country Wind Phase 2 Reinvestment Zone. Chapter 312, Texas Tax Code, Value Limitations Agreement. Take comments. Are you here to speak on this?
I am. I don't have a whole lot to say, but my name is Wes Jackson. I'm with Cummings Westlake. We're a property tax consulting firm out of Houston area, Cypress, Texas. I live in Alito. We have, I think, just 10 people in our firm. We're at 9 different board meetings tonight on 313 applications like this, because in case you aren't aware, the state is sunsetting this program at the end of this year. So anything that's not finalized and approved by any agreement with any school districts not approved by the end of the year is invalid and you're out of luck. So there was a big push. The state had more applications filed this year in April than they had all of last year combined. And then they had that many again in May. So they've been completely swamped. Just a crazy time. And so what's happening is companies and developers of these projects they're filing these applications, getting their agreements in place. And honestly, it's pretty early in the process. And if they weren't sunsetting the program, they probably would have waited a year, or whatever, until they had a little clearer picture of the project. But if it's going to be successful, they got to go forward with the best information they have. So, and that's what they've done. They're proposing a 375 megawatt project. I believe the Mesquite Star, is about, I think it's closer to 400 megawatts, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a little bit smaller, but $300 million or so investment if they build the project, and it'll be several years down the road before they actually do. Hill Country Wind. This project wins the title for the longest name of any wind project. We've probably done easily 200 of these in the state. Hill Country Wind Power Mesquite Star Phase 2 LLC. So they get the title for the longest name. But I'm not sure I can answer any specific questions you have. If you do, and I can't, I'll be happy to get with Seth, who I believe you guys have met, and get any additional information that you might have. But that's all I have to say.
What do you think the state's going to do when they sunset? What are they going to do after this period?
Well, they don't like the 313 because it makes some schools the haves and some schools the have-nots, that's why they have the whole Robin Hood, school funding thing going on. But I think they're coming up with something. Personally, there's not a lot of support for renewable energy anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if that's just left out in the cold after this. Because already there's a lot of projects that are up and producing all over, as you well know. And there's plenty of projects that are in the pipeline, like this one right here. So I think renewables are gonna be left out in the cold, if you want my opinion. They're gonna come up with something to encourage investment and jobs, but it's gonna look real different than the 313 program.
You want to touch on some of the financial pieces here? Find the appreciation schedule and
Yeah, there's a Schedule B in the application that is a estimate of the future tax roll, what the values would look like year by year. All that is a simple good faith estimate. I mean, nobody knows what the price of power is gonna do and what the price of turbines is gonna do in the near term or long term. So certainly power prices have gone up some. And I guess what I would tell you is that's a good faith estimate, but don't rely on it. You need to talk to your appraisal district. Fisher County uses Pritchard and Abbott out of Fort Worth. And that's who I would talk to. John Rutledge is a district manager, and I'd call him if you want estimates of value. So don't rely on that. And certainly this is it's two birds in the bush. It's not a bird in the hand until it's built. And you guys, I mean, we've had some schools that have gone on and built it, and then a few turbines moved out and they didn't get as much value, and they told their taxpayers they're gonna have pick a number, a 25-cent INS rate, and they had to go to 30 or a little over, and everybody was mad. And so I would say, wait till you got a bird in the hand.
they're scheduling this for 26, 27 time frame starting construction.
Yeah, and let me explain a little something to you there. The comptroller will let you move a project forward in time, but it won't let you push it back. What everybody did around the state, firms like us and the companies they work for, they bought themselves as much time so that if they thought they were going to build it in 24 and they set up everything in 24 and it didn't get built, then the agreement would be void and then the project would be dead. So what they've done is they've bought themselves the maximum amount of time they can under the statute, hoping that they build it sooner rather than later. That's probably, if it gets built, that'll be the latest it'll get built. You guys know that the project would be responsible to the district for supplemental payments of $50,000 a year for 15 payments. Actually, it'd be a lot more than that because depending on I don't know how the agreement's written, to be honest with you, but so at least 15 payments of supplemental payments under Article 6. In addition to that, if the project is built, they're going to owe a revenue protection payment. All this money is outside of the school funding formula, so none of it gets recaptured or redistributed or affects your funding formula. So the revenue protection payment is normally a hefty payment. On average, it's about 1% of the first year's value, if you on an average. So if it's $300 million, it'd be $3 million payment. Now it varies quite a bit. I've seen it as low as 30 to 40%. I've seen it as high as 150%. But that's all tied up in school funding that I don't understand. Does anybody really? I don't think so.
Anticipate the law for everything.
Yeah, that would come from, I'll tell you that your law firm, Leon and Akala, who you use, isn't it? They're going to estimate 1% of the value loss. Actually, so if it's $300 million, they're going to pay taxes on $20 million, your value limitation. So it'd be 280, but still, it's a big number if it gets built. That's really that and the INS benefit that is fully taxable for INS purposes are really the main benefits to the district, much more so than the 50,000 a year.
They had it estimated at 3.1 and then 750,000 supplemental.
So that's 15 years of 50,000 and then 3.1, okay. And that's just an estimate. You know, they're gonna do it on what the funding formulas are in that year, school finance, and it has to do with your ADA and your tax base, and there's a jillion things that are involved in that. But
We're seeing a 20 million cap, we're seeing 30.
it may be 30 actually.
No,
So I-
30.
Okay, I could be mistaken on that. Yeah, I don't have that in it may be 30, but actually, now that I think about it, I wouldn't be surprised now that you have the Mesquite Star project on your tax base, yeah.
The first year was 36, 437, 500, then it goes to 30. 10 years.
Okay. You're looking at Schedule B, that'd be your limitation. Those columns over to the right, yes, sir.
Our payment was on the first year.
On Mesquite Star?
I don't know what QTP.
Qualifying time, you're looking at the new application up there, right, that you're considering today?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what Mesquite Star was, to be honest. Like I say, typically they're large payments. Maybe Mr. Carter might know, probably not off the top of his head, but.
Were you looking for the taxable value, Chris?
You know, we're gonna cap, what 313 caps it at.
Is that Schedule B right there? Go over this one a little bit. Okay, that's from, Leon Akala there. That's their estimate, isn't it? Financial impact, yes. There's 30 million right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's first payment, so you're
36.
36, 437.
That's a value, but yes, so you can't, they would want to burn one of their years for that little bit of a value differential, so they would wait. Under those facts and that scenario, you'd rather just pay the full taxes and push it back and save your 10 years when you have more value savings to the project.
Pretty much basics. Anyone have any questions I can think of?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Carter, do you have anything to add?
Not on those two, just on the safety and security audit.
Okay. We'll move into that part of the public hearing now.
Okay. The in the 2022 year, we are required to have a safety and security audit in the fall of the semester, or the semester, fall semester. We had ours 2 weeks ago, and in that audit, they checked 72 doors. We have 72 exterior doors in our district. One of those doors had it has a unlocking mechanism on the inside of the door. It had dislodged, so we had one finding. It was immediately fixed, and so we just had to have a public hearing to let that finding be known. It's already been fixed, and then that's part of our safety and security grant when it comes through at the later part of the spring semester. So that's essentially all we have to report on the public hearing.
Anybody have questions on it? Well, I guess we'll close the public hearing and public comment section, move into regular agenda. So I guess we'll,
Yes, sir. And if you could go ahead and move on to B, C, D, and E, and that'll take care of the wind project.
B, we need to acknowledge conflict of interest policy in conjunction with the application for agreement for limitation on appraised value property for school district maintenance and operation taxes from Hill Country Wind Power Mesquite Star Phase 2 LLC. The comptroller application of number 1910.
The only thing that you need to do for that one is, Mr. Essison, the one that says 5. All board members will need to sign that. Just stating that you have no conflict of interest.
So this sign under no conflict,
Yes, sir.
or disclosure made. Working on that one. Consider and possible action to approve the resolution designating Hill Country Wind Phase 2 reinvestment zone pursuant to Chapter 312 of the Texas Tax Code.
The recommended motion, if you so choose, is under recommended motions on your board book.
Mr. Russell,
Yes, sir.
is this a new reinvestment zone, or is this an expansion of the original investment zone?
It'd be new.
This would be new, in there calling it Phase 2, but there's a separate 313, so I'm assuming new.
They could use the old one if it's less than 5 years old and it was big enough that, they could put this within that project. It's probably pretty close to being that old, I don't know, but, they are creating, this is a new zone. Normally the county would do this, but, because of the timing, we're focusing, like I explained, on the sunsetting of the 313 program. We're focusing on the schools now. School has that ability to do this, obviously. And the application requests the district do it because we haven't even started talking to the county yet.
So later on, they're going
I
to
assume-
do the other tax against you.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that you're going to be able to get that agreement approved by the end of the month? I mean, is there a time?
What, you mean the school?
Yeah, from the
After tonight, it'll be done. If they approve it tonight, then that's what will be required.
to meet the sunset.
Yes.
Yes, this is already, we done this in April. Then it went to the comptroller. We just now got it back in comptroller in the last few days.
But this would just be the formal action to designate a reinvestment zone. Is this also a formal approval of the 313 agreement?
There's other agenda items.
This is the final form, I believe.
So the final 313 agreement is also being approved tonight. Okay. Just for the record, there was no note of this meeting published in the newspaper 7 days prior to this meeting. There's a lot at stake.
Well, I think for a reinvestment zone, it has to be published 30 days in advance. I assume that Acala did this. I mean, they wouldn't, or went on Acala. If not, then it's invalid. So
Mr. Carter, do you know anything of this?
Let me check.
You have to be a local paper, I mean, could it,
It's a newspaper of general circulation.
Yeah.
Which would be the,
I mean, you would be our source on that, that's what I'm saying.
which
So
is why I asked whether it was an expansion or something new. It's something new that it says it in there to, it needs to be noted, right? A notification. An expansion of something that's there. Anything that's written as far as a public notice of that. It's just kind of gray. I just wanted to bring that to anybody's attention.
that is good.
I was under the impression there was a step in between the reinvestment zone and the agreement itself. But things may have been expedited on that side to move things along a little faster.
I don't know. I don't know what the notice requirements are off the top of my head for school, when the school district creates the reinvestment zone. I do not know. I assume that there is a public notice requirement of some sort. Certainly is if the county does it. I can't imagine it being,
Be more than.
I don't know that they added the same language, but I would think there is notice requirements.
Mr. Estes, we have been advised by the lawyer that is a requirement of the county, not of the school district.
So
So everybody good with going ahead then? I didn't know what the posting of our meeting in 72 hours was. So you good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, item C, considering possible action to approve the resolution designating Hill Country Wind Phase 2 reinvestment zone pursuant to Chapter 312 Texas Tax Code. What's the difference between 312? Is that the actual zone?
It's section 3 or article 312, it's section 312 of the tax code is dealing with municipalities and counties and abatements. The 313 is unique to school districts. So the county operates under different rules than the school districts, or a hospital or city or anybody. Schools, only school districts are under chapter or section 313 or chapter 313.
But we're approving the reinvestment zone 12.
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, you can't, I mean, you're approving a 313 agreement, so I'm not sure about the language of that motion, what that means to be.
What I'm saying is the verbiage on item C is 312 and then item D is 313. We approve that one. There's 313. That's the reason I was asking about this 312. Is it just because it's a reinvestment zone?
I guess so. I mean, you've got a law firm advising you on this. I guess the only thing I know is.
Chapter 313 deals with property redevelopment and tax abatement act. That's what that is. And so that is just the redevelopment zone. And then the 313 is actual agreement.
We have to do those separate.
That is correct.
Anybody like to make a motion that's worded on here?
We on C.
On C?
Make a motion to approve the resolution designating the Hill Country Wind Phase 2 reinvestment zone.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. On item C.
Who was the second?
Stormy. Any other questions, thoughts? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Move on to D, consider possible action to approve the board findings pursuant to Chapter 313 of the Texas Property Tax Code regarding the application for value limitation agreement from Hill Country Wind Tower Mesquite Star Phase 2 LLC, comptroller application of number 1910. So this will be the formal action on it.
I'll make a motion the board adopt findings pursuant to Chapter 313 of the Texas Property Tax Code in connection with application 1910 from Hill Country Wind Power Mesquite Star Phase 2 LLC.
Second.
Now the motion is second. To approve the 313 agreement. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E, consider possible action to approve an agreement under the Texas Economic Development Act for a limitation on appraisal value of property for the school district maintenance and operation taxes with Hill Country Wind Power Mesquite Store Phase 2 LLC, comptroller, application number 1910. So this is actually the value limitations part of it.
This is the agreement contract itself, this item on the agenda.
So this should go over all the basic financials that we looked at as far as the value limitations to roughly 30 million to 50,000 a year and the one-time loss in revenue payment up front. Probably going into effect in 26, 27, 28 years maybe.
I'll make a motion to approve an agreement for value limitation for school district maintenance and operation taxes pursuant to Chapter 313 of the Texas Property Tax Code from Hill Country Wind Power Mesquite Star Phase 2 LLC, comptroller application 1910.
I second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the appraised value of the property school district maintenance and operation taxes for Hill Country Wind Star Farm LLC. Any other questions? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. You want to sign all these now?
I don't think so. I mean, if you want to, that's yours, but I mean, I think Mr. Carter's gonna be FedExing that to your lawyers, your attorneys, so I don't see, it's up to you while you're here, probably before you leave tonight.
Yeah, I didn't know if you needed them now or.
No, I don't, no. I will follow up with Mr. Carter on the reinvestment zone issue. I'll check with, Leon Acala attorneys and confirm that. And I'll let Mr. Carter know by email or calling, whatever, but any other questions that you want me to get back with you on particularly come to mind? Well, if some come up later, then, just email us. One of the gentlemen in our firm that filed this application, his information, phone number, and email are in the application, so, Mr. Carter can email them if you got any questions about the project. I think he knows, Seth, Rickland, and, so he can, I'm sure he has the sources to find out if he needs them, but good. I will check on the reinvestment zone question, though.
All good, we'll move on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Estes, we can move to A now.
We'll move back up to A and we have a couple guys here from the bank going to talk to us about our financials.
Good evening. I'd like to say thank you first of all to the board and Mr. Carter for inviting us to come and visit with y'all. I'm Justin Allen. I work here in the Roman branch. Joseph Crouch is here with me this evening as well. Back in October, Johnny Signs and myself came and met with Mr. Carter and Ms. Lakey and wanted to visit with them about a new product that First Financial Bank had came out with. I guess everybody's probably familiar with the rate environment we're in right now, rising interest rates. And of course, with interest rates going up, everybody wants to know what CD rates and MMA rates and all that stuff we're going to do. And so First Financial took the stance that we wanted to be proactive and try to maximize any of our public entities or state government return on their deposits. And so they came out with a program or a product that basically said, what we're going to offer you is we're going to match TexPool's rate. That whatever that rate is, we're going to let y'all have that on an MMA account. And so that's what we came to visit with y'all about. And so I'm going to turn it over to Joseph now, and he can answer more of probably the detailed questions that y'all have.
Thank you, Justin. Yeah, I mean, we just appreciate the invite to be here. Joseph Crouch is my name. I serve as our region's president of Sweetwater. And so, I mean, we wanted to proactively get in front of your administration and staff to make sure that we're aware of this product. It's a money market account. The funds will earn a rate equal to the tax pool rate on a daily basis, and then interest is credited to the account at the end of each month. And I think, Mr. Estes, you and I had a chance to visit, and you had some questions. I felt like the board might have a few questions. So we're here to address any questions you all have about that, or if the school administration staff would like to participate in the problem.
Well, I think anything we can do to generate extra money from school is gonna help.
Yep, absolutely. I looked at the rates this was the middle part of last week, and at that time, the rate was 3.7702, which would be a match rate that we would look at each day, and basically whatever tax pool is providing this account would bear that interest rate. I did take a review of our existing contract, and the reason why we're doing this proactively is because, well, let me back up. I've been banking for a while, and I've never in my career seen interest rates run at the rate that they had this year. So essentially, we started the year off in January offering mortgage rates in the 3s, and they have more than doubled in 9 months, 10 months. We've seen, a bank prime rate loan go from the rate of a prime loan go from 3.25, 3.50 at the beginning of the year, now to 7. So, and that happened in a very short period of time as the feds continued to work to curb inflation. So, why we are doing this is because we found a lot of our municipality contracts have caps, which is a standard practice within these types of contracts. Y'all's has a 2% cap. So if you're able to achieve 377 at the tax pool by investing in tax pool, we certainly wanted to find ways to create an avenue for our clients to achieve that rate. And not that we're going around the contract, but we're just providing this as an added service in addition to the contract. And by the way, y'all's contract is it is in state until August of 2023. I did look back on the history of the contract. You have 3 more times to renew for 2 years apiece. So we've got a few more years until you have to go out for bid. Of course, it's the board's option to do that anytime you desire. But contract expires August 31st, 2023, and you've got an option for renewal 3 more times. But specific to this money market account, it adheres to the same principles as a contract. For every dollar that the school district has on deposit, we are collateralizing that dollar 110%. So any monies above the FDIC insurance level are backed by a safe and sound collateral bond or something of that nature, which adheres to y'all's investment policy.
What other options, I mean, like CDs, or what can the bank offer?
I mean, we can offer you a CD, sir, but those rates are at or below these current levels. And so if you're able to maintain municipality funds, keep it liquid, available to you, and achieve a higher rate, that would be my recommendation. Internally, we have some CD rates at or slightly below this level currently.
And once you vote on this and we approve it, or if that's what we did, then how long? I mean, I understand, every 2 years, but being locked into that, or is that something you can change anytime you want?
Yeah.
If you want to do a CD or you want to, whatever.
Right. So the contract, does have, at the time of the expiration, we could definitely amend the existing contract. So we'll definitely see an amendment this time with the current interest rate levels. So, we would reinstate a different set of terms in regards to the rate, but no other material changes would likely be present. So we have that option to do so at the,
And so as the rate, like if it continues to go up, I mean, this is fluent as it goes, or
Correct.
you're not locking in 377?
no, sir, it's a daily adjusting rate. So I just took a snapshot of 5 days. It moved from 3.7264 to 3.75 to 3.7622. These are daily adjustments to 3.763, and then the last date of my review was 3.77. So it adjusts daily, and then interest is calculated daily to the end of the month, and then that interest is paid into the account.
It just pays right into the account.
That's right. And as far as motions or any requirements, that would be up to your administration to guide you on that. But this is a product that we could easily open with your staff and any time. We'll be able to establish the account, and then your staff would be able to make the decision of the amount of funds to transfer over. And it would also eliminate having to open up other accounts through TextPool or whatever that process entails. We can certainly make it simple and easy.
We're capped at 2% right now. Is that what
Correct.
you were saying?
Is there any like minimum amount we have to have in this account or anything like that?
I mean, I think it is, but it's not material for you guys.
And then as far as, I guess, any kind of risk of having it in this account versus what we've got it in now?
Correct. No risk. Again, it would fall under the existing contract requirements, which requires the bank to collateralize your deposit at 110%. I think the only limitation you would have is like the number of daily or the number of transactions by check, and that would be any normal money market account provisions.
And no kind of penalty, like you needed it or used it or pulled some money out or.
Right. And that would be the advantage, as Mr. Estes was inquiring about the CD. So this monies would be fluid. It would be liquid
Yeah.
for you. So there's no penalties, there's no fees.
Right.
Yeah, and again, I just want to impress upon you guys that,
Trick.
a bank didn't have to do this, right? I mean, but we just wanted to make sure that we provide this product to all of our friends in each of the taxing authorities. And we worked with the school district for a long time, and we certainly appreciate the business and the rapport that we have with you guys, and want to offer it to y'all as well.
What about your trust department, is that what they call it?
We do have a trust department, yes, sir.
Is there anything we can look at, or?
Sure. Some schools, I don't know your investment policy or what restrictions you have there, but if your investment policy allows you to make other types of investments with taxpayers' funds, we'd be honored to set up a meeting with you guys and our local trust department manager. His name is Wayne Chowney. And there are some other school districts that we do work with. So.
Thank you. I haven't read it directly, I believe it says as long as we're staying on our fiduciary part, it's left up to us.
Okay.
What kind of rates are you looking at on that?
For that, sir, that would really be a discussion that we would need to bring in that manager and explore your investment options, frankly, because, I mean, it could range from T-bills to treasuries to, I'm assuming maybe brokered CDs, or I don't know what your investment policy would allow. But again, I would recommend allowing us to meet with your staff and explore that, or present here at the board, whichever y'all would prefer.
My thinking is utilize the money market account until we see something that we can look at later on.
Well, you'll instantly achieve a higher return on your deposit, if you will, on behalf of the taxpayers day one. So
Yes.
if you so choose to, we can open this account tomorrow and get that interest rate up where it needs to be.
I think that'd be a start. Canada, here's an option to look at some close basic numbers. She is away right now.
What's the amount of checks you could write out of that account? Would we,
I think it's limited to 3 per month or 6 by electronic means,
So
so.
what you'll do is you'll call the bank, say move
over
50,000 over to checking and cover the bill.
So that would just count as one of the 6 that it says you can have.
I
That
called
would be through.
Drill Rogers this morning and quizzed him on this, and he said he had several schools that utilize an MMA and they have their state fund direct deposit to it. He said they may keep over 50,000 in their account. End of the month, they're running a bill run, that's seeing how much you're gonna need, just move that much over and finish out the month. And he did say, schools that had 12 different CDs, that way they would come
Mm-hmm.
do monthly and keep a little bit of liquidity. So there's lots of options, I'm assuming, I mean, he wouldn't. What does our contract say about taking finances outside of the contract with the bank?
Well, I mean, you're limited, but you're able to manage the funds as you so choose. There's nothing in the contract I'm aware of that states the use of your funds other than where it's, the depository relationship is with First Financial, and how the monies are deployed is definitely up to you and your staff. Pleasure to have you all, or to see you all. I'm Joseph Crouch. Your name?
Danny Terry.
Danny, pleasure to meet you. Hi, I'm Joseph.
Michelle Terry.
Michelle Terry, nice to know you. Thank you. Hi,
Bradbury.
Mr. Raspberry, pleasure. Thank you for your time. How you doing?
Stormy?
Stormy, it's a very good name.
Thank you.
Oh, if I can help. How are you, sir?
Good, Carter Edmonds.
Mr. Edmondson, Joseph Crouch.
Good to meet you, sir.
Pleasure, sir. Thanks for having me here. If you have any other follow-up questions, or if I can set up that meeting with our trust department manager, it'd be my honor.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions?
Sounds good. Appreciate you.
You bet. Glad to be here. Just let me know or through your superintendent or however y'all want to proceed. We'll get that going.
Thank you.
All right,
guys.
have a great meeting.
Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you, sir.
How are you?
Trustees, should you choose to go this route, the motion would be to authorize the superintendent to execute the opening of a money market account with First Financial Bank. And then that will allow us the opportunity to begin that process through the administration.
Is something y'all want to start now or think about it, or?
Is there any reason why we wouldn't?
I don't
I
see
mean, I
no
can't-
reason.
I
I don't know nothing about it.
mean, a CD would, I mean,
CDs right now.
We're gonna- yeah. how much?
Close to 5
Close to 5?
So you gotta lock it down for, what's the time?
years. If
So-
if I was going that route, me personally, I would say keep so much liquid in the money market account. Move, let's just say roughly we got 4 million to work with outside of $1 million. Buy a CD a quarter. That way it'd be maturing every quarter.
For whatever money you have in your bank, your liquid account, this would at least allow it to do something.
Yeah.
We could be drawing roughly that 3.7 for, say, a month till we look at it again next month board meeting. What other options? You'd already be drawing something now.
We'd asked some of these questions a few months ago when we were talking about how much money we had in the bank, what's it doing for us? Before we spend it or whatever, I mean, while we're waiting to finish the project and everything else, having it do something for us.
Yeah, I mean, that would be my recommendation, is to go ahead and authorize it to be moved into the money market.
I don't see why you wouldn't unless there was something Kendra could tell us, or if Mr. Carter has something that concern on it, but doesn't sound like there's anything positive.
There's really no concern. It will be essentially the balancing act of making sure to know exactly how much do we need to have in our regular account versus our money market account, just because, again, with the limited amount of draws per month, we'll just have to make sure that we kind of monitor that on the first couple of month basis to make sure we have that lined out. But Kendra and I have been working on that, so I think we've got it down to a pretty good amount. And then at that point in time, then we can get with the trust people to kind of come up with some other options to look at for more of a longevity view of things. So then you essentially have a long term, which would be more of the CT, the CDs and long term investments. You have your midterm investment, which would be your money market account, and then you would have your short term, which would be your essential, checking account that we use for all of our daily bills.
So y'all kind of come up with a percentage number already?
Do what, sir?
You've already come up with kind of a percentage number to kind of keep in checking and the difference to go into.
Yes, we've analyzed our bills from from a month to month standpoint, from from last year to this year, just to kind of see in average. August we're going to have a larger amount that we're going to need to keep in versus in October, or in December is going to be less than what we need in January or in February. So we would just need to know kind of how much to move from one month to the next. And since we have those limited 3, we will have more than enough time to get that done.
What's pleasurable?
How do we need to make the motion? How do we need to make that motion again, Mr. Carter?
Just move to authorize the superintendent to execute the opening of a money market account with First Financial Bank.
I'll make a motion as stated.
I'll second.
That is so wrong. So wrong.
No, it makes life easier. Okay, I have a motion and second to authorize the superintendent to move money into the money market account with First Financial Bank. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed? The motion carries 5-1. Now we'll move on down to item F, Texas School Board self-assessment.
Yes, trustees, every school year, school boards are supposed to do a self-assessment. And so therefore, we did not do one last year, and so we need to do one this year. I added the TASB self-assessment link to the board book. I will also send that link to you guys through email. If you guys could have that in within the next 2 weeks, all it does is it just basically goes through what your views of the board, government's operations, and then what we'll do in January is take the results of that to look at it from a self-assessment standpoint of areas that we need to work on, areas that we have strengths, and kind of build our next year projection for the board. And so that's essentially all that's on that item.
You'll all get to do it in 2 weeks. Go on now, we're perfect. All right, we'll work on that. G is discuss the annual superintendent evaluation.
Trustees, I did put in your agenda item on this one last year's. The only change was one of the suggestions from last year is going from the 3 performance measures, which is by the instrument itself, and adding additional 2 spots per, instead of just having either low, meets, or exceeds, having 2 for exceeds, 2 for meets, and then have a larger for the needs to improve, I think is what it is. And so that's essentially all it is. Just gives you more of a range to put a ranking for those individual items, if that's what you want to do, or we can go back to what it was before. I just know that was one of the suggestions that you guys had.
We'll probably discuss some of the questions that's on there and closed. get those ironed out.
Where does that evaluation come from?
That is the one that is through the state of Texas. That's the TEA version, which is through the Texas Association of School Boards.
Okay, but we can just adjust how the responses are made.
Correct, to some degree, yes.
There's three.
Okay.
Either
I didn't know
below
what
par, average, or above par, is all three school was.
Okay. So we can
Now-
adjust
now
that,
we're
make
going-
it.
Now we're going to like a 5 or 6.
And this one's structured to a 10, 1 through 10. Is that correct, Mr.
Yes.
Carter? If I'm looking at
Yes,
that?
instead of being 1 through 3, it gives you a high-low for the top ranking. Let me get there. Sorry, guys, I thought I had it open.
So the questions come from the state, but then the responses are how we want to.
That is correct. Yes, ma'am. And so, in other words, the exceptional, the three ratings is needs improvement, proficient, and exceptional. And on the original evaluation, it literally is you make the decision of is it needs improvement, proficient, or exceptional. It doesn't give you within exceptional, is it higher than or lower than. It gives you a little bit more wiggle room as to where you fit within a category. Whereas, in needs improvement, you may feel like that it's a really, 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 really needs improvement or not meets proficient, but just barely close. It gives you a little bit more of a variability versus just saying needs improvement, proficient, or exceptional. You can certainly change it however you choose to, but this is kind of based upon kind of that 100-point scale is what, a teacher would do for a grade.
Okay.
So that's more or less what that is.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Y'all want to get into that? Maybe we can talk about it later. Okay, we'll move on to discuss and take action on employment resignations.
We don't have any.
Okay, review the 2022 safety and security audit.
And we've already done that in the public hearing.
Okay. Move into campus report. I take it you're giving nearly all of them?
That I am.
Elementary and junior high.
Let me get there. Miss Brown and Miss Loomis did a fantastic job on the district UIL meet. We had a lot of compliments about the district, about its organization, and about the new campus in general. So it was overall a great job. Junior high placed first overall, and the elementary placed third by only 18 points. And so we did a really good job. And so there was a lot of good competition this year from the different schools in our district. So we were very proud of where we ended up. Also down inside of, I believe one of the observation or the reports is all the individual winners throughout that. Upcoming events on the 19th at 1 is the Christmas program featuring the 1st grade and 5th graders. December 20th, Santa will be on campus to take pictures with our students. For our Texas Instructional Leadership Update, our goal one by Thanksgiving was 100% compliance of lesson plan submissions with 3 essential components. That's the primary TEKS, the daily lesson objective, and formative assessments. And we met that for the week of 12/5 through 12/9. And then, so we're doing quite well. Our next goal is through February, and that's 100% strong daily objectives. And so we're starting the process of doing that, and we're working through PD on January 4th, 2023, to provide more guidance for teachers.
Okay, this change in lesson plans, who
Yes.
is that coming from?
Uh,
I mean, is that just something that as a school, like you decided, or, I mean, what is there, are we getting graded on that? Is there a report card on that, or? I'm just
through
curious.
the district moved into Texas Instructional Leadership, which is a move to more of alignment across the district from elementary to high school. And so that is where we are making sure that we're meeting all the expectations across the district. And so that's where that's more or less coming from. The lesson plan expectations was a board approved expectation that we approved at the October board meeting. And it's something that we've been working on through August, and that's where we were on that.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a state someone state-wise that why we're getting the percentages?
No. It's just more or less through Texas Instructional Leadership. It's you define goals. So in other words, you're defining goals as you go through. So the first thing that we wanted to see through the first part of the cycle one, which would be the first 3 months of school, is that we were working on just getting lesson plans turned in the format that we needed them in. So then once we got that in, then we move into the next step, and then we move into the next step. So it's doing it in bite-sized chunks as opposed to throwing it all out at once. And so that's more or less what Texas Instructional Leadership is about. Did that answer your question?
Yes. it-
Okay. The phone update, it's gone much smoother, and we've had several phones taken up, but overall, everybody has gotten into compliance. We are continuing to do observations, walkthroughs. They're done weekly. Elementary, junior high teachers got together and set a goal to have a positive learning environment, and they are planning to recognize students who exhibit positive behavior towards their peers, and that will start at the beginning of next semester. So they're working on getting all their plans in place for that. So Ms. Cole has done a fantastic job in getting that lined out with the staff. Elementary junior high staff has also set 1 to 2 personal goals that they can measure by the end of the year. And that's one of the things that through Texas Instructional Leadership is that we're looking at setting those personal goals. That how do we grow as not only a student population, but a teacher population as a school culture. So that's more or less where that is. And so let me get to the next one. On the second attachment is all of the UIL results. And so you guys will have a list of all those that participated and also those that placed. And we were very excited about how they did. Any other questions on the elementary junior high?
I don't see any.
Okay. For Roby High School, all right. Currently have 89 students enrolled at the high school campus. District FFA contest took place in Anson. The students performed as follows. We had advancing. We had Taylor Jeffrey. He placed first place in senior creed. Maribel Carlos, first place in senior Spanish creed. Trey Spencer, Taylor Jeffries, the public relations team, the radio broadcasting team, junior chapter conducting, senior skills, senior creed, junior quiz, senior quiz, junior creed, heat A, junior creed, heat B, junior creed, and job interview. We had a massive amount of kids that moved on. So congratulations to the Kikers on the amazing job that they're doing in the ag department. So we're very happy about that. Trey Spencer also won second place at the area contest, then competed at the state LDE contest and job interview. He did not make the finals, but represented our FFA chapter very well. Our FFA chapter held Junior Ag Day on November 18th. Elementary students were able to see presentations on beef, cattle, sheep, goats, soil, pigs, and farming. The students are also gone to District FFA banquet today in Haskell. Haley Garmer was selected to the Texas Girl Coaches Association Cross Country All-Star Team. She will go to the Coaches Clinic next July. Congratulations to Haley. Upcoming events, high school students are signing up for UIL events this week. There's a lot of interest already for this year's events. And then we have Christmas break coming up soon. TIL updates. We are working on the second phase of TIL implementation with a strong daily objectives and lesson plans. We will complete training on January 4th. Phase 1 lesson plan implementation, we had around 70% of the teachers turning in plans, but more like 40% compliance with the required components. We are working to increase this percentage. Walkthroughs are taking place in classrooms weekly. And that is what we have for the high school. Any questions on the high school?
Seeing none.
There's the career and technical education flyer that's also attached to the high school as well. Ms. Shoemaker does a fantastic job of highlighting all the things that we're doing in our CT programs. And so we will continue to add this as more information comes available. And so we're very happy about where we're going in that direction. And now we're into the athletic director's report. I think Coach DeLeon will take care of his part.
We are currently still in basketball. Our high school boys played in the Borden County tournament this past weekend. Played a couple of close games, and the last game kind of got away from us. But I think the coach Williams is happy with how the boys are responding to the new system, the new coach, and just trying to learn the game. I think we're doing a good job. Our JV played well. We have a lot of kids on JV, but they're I thought they played well as well. They have not played in a tournament. We are trying to find a tournament for our JV and trying to make sure we fill their schedule. Junior high kids played a B team game last week, and we won that. That's the first B team game we've had. We got a lot of junior high boys playing, and it's been a struggle trying to find games for the 1A schools that have that extra team. We're working on that. Our A team is playing well. On the girls side, did Coach Williams leave a report? I don't think she did.
Yes, she did.
Oh, she did? Okay, you got it. All right.
We had 3 girls selected to the TGCA All-State Cross Country team: Haley, Chastity, and Lily. And of course, Haley was also selected for the All-Star Cross Country Clinic. Basketball girls received a consolation plaque at the Highland tournament and at the Borden County tournament this last weekend. They will play Robert Lee for the 3rd time on Tuesday, so they're going to get to know these girls quite well. And starting at 6:15, and the district starts on Friday for the girls against Luders of Boca.
Coach, how many kids you got playing?
Oh, man, we have, let's say, and I may be off a little bit, 22 probably. All but 2 kids. All our football players play basketball except for 2 players. So, yeah, it's a big number.
High school, you got on varsity?
High school, man, we have, they carry 10 on varsity and roughly 12 on JV. It's been good. A lot of the kids probably have never played before, but the coaches are doing a good job of just keeping them involved. And we feel them being involved in something that it carries over into the classroom and into our high school, keeps them passing, keeps them acting right, and just helps out just all around. So it's been it's hard, but I think it helps overall.
How do you see the grades?
Grades, this last 6 weeks was one of the easy 6 weeks because they were able to bring cans of food and money and stuff, which I thought that was a great idea. So everybody passed. The first, I think we lost 2 kids prior to that overall, which is that's been great. Teachers have done a good job, and football, we had a little tutorial that they kind of held after school.
Still doing that?
Well, we haven't because they've been passing but as soon as we know they're in a bind, we will get them in there. But this last 6 weeks was kind of one of those where nobody was failing, so there was no need for the tutorials. So it's been good. We'll see this semester how it goes, but we've been pleased.
Any questions? Move into business and finance reports.
Trustees, on the business finance report, cash position, there was a glitch in the Ascender program, so the numbers that were reflected were not what shows up in the bank account. So we're trying to get that resolved, and once I do, I will send you guys the cash position that we have for this year, or as of this point in time. So we're working at the Region Center on getting that resolved. The expenditures report, looking at number 1, comparison to budget. Looking at revenue to budget, we're looking at we have within our bank accounts right now 30.40% of our what we're hoping to realize for our revenue. Again, revenue is based upon attendance, so it kind of varies. So that is not going to be exactly 100%, but that's right where we need to be in line, is right at 30% for December. On the second page is our comparison of expenditures and encumbrances to the budget. And so overall, we have expended 24.32% of our expenditures across, and that is right in line with where we should be for December. And we'll get into a little bit more of a detail on the next report, which is the expenditures to budget. This takes you into looking at it from a local, state, and federal perspective. So for our revenue for the local, we've realized about 12.87%. Remember that we're on a Schedule 2, so that means that we get some money in September, October, November. Then we don't receive any money for the middle of the year, and then we receive payments essentially April, May, June, July. So you won't see a lot of the local part other than for taxes. That will be the majority of what you're going to see throughout the rest of December, January, and February. State programs, we're at 52.79%. That would be our state program through attendance. That is any state funds that we receive for Title I, for any of the state ed funding, any of those. Then for federal programs, that one's one that's kind of an anomaly, and there's no real perfect way to look at federal programs, because again, every year the numbers are a little bit different. And so we're sitting at realized of 8.79% of what we're expecting to get for federal funds. And so overall, we are sitting at 30.98% of what we realized for our revenues for this year so far. Next one is looking at it from a function standpoint for expenditures. So each one of the functions deals with a little bit differently. So you'll look at the first one, which is function 11. That's all instruction, where we've realized 29.29%. That's right where we need to be in line with December. And if you look, the majority of ours are right at 29 to 30% all the way through. And so that's exactly where we need to be for December from previous years. So if there's any questions on any of those, we'll be more than happy to talk about them, but that's more or less how you read this report. Each function has a different topic, more or less, to say for each one of the different lines. All right. Anybody have any questions on those? All right, looking at the check register. Not anything too outside of the ordinary. A lot of ours was essentially food, phones. Contracts and officials. That's more or less what's all in there. Is there anything you'd like to have a little bit more clarification on?
Did they say when they'd get the fire hydrant moved?
That is, they've got most of the material in. Jack has the main part in. I think they're waiting on some pipes, so I'm not sure exactly the date yet for that, but it is in the process. I don't know where it is at this point. I'll check on it.
That's what the fire hydrant installation in the check register is.
That is that we had to purchase the actual fire hydrant, and so it's actually in their warehouse. It's just a matter of us now getting it put in.
Did they ever get back to you on the track field? I'm thinking about it.
You know what? No, they haven't. And I haven't. I'll write that on my list.
Yeah. Is that?
Glad you brought that up. All right, anything else? Okay. All right. That is all for the business report.
Well, I guess we'll move into superintendent's report.
Essentially, the majority of the information I try to update on a weekly basis. If you click on the data dashboard, it will take you to the school board Google site, and you'll see bar charts for our enrollment, attendance, RDA, and our career and technical education. All of ours are right within the range where we want. We're starting to level out on our enrollment. Attendance wise, we're sitting right between our target and our budget. And then we're still trying to work on getting our target up. We've had a lot of sickness and illness that have gone around. So we're trying to get everybody healthy and back to school again. Refined ADA, again, that will hit due to sickness as well. Career and technical education, we're doing a great job of identifying and making sure those kids are in the classes and identified where they need to. And so the CTE 3 counts a whole lot more money than what CTE 2 and 1. And so the more that we have in our CTE 2s and 3s, the more money that we can generate for CTE purposes. So that's where we are there. The rest of my report I'll go through when we get to the tax report.
You know what our attendance is?
We're sitting at 95%. Actually 95.8, so 96%.
So the water bill, that was 5,300. Does that sound close to you?
That is a lot of that is construction. A lot of that was we had the one we had the one leak. It wasn't a big leak by any stretch, but anyways, that was the basics of getting the pipes changed out. But otherwise, I'm not aware of it being any higher or lower than that. I can check for that, Chris.
Okay. This time, I thought it
Okay,
kind of on the
let me
high
check
side,
for
but
you and I'll
not
let
too
you know.
far out of normal. Okay. All right, we'll move into consent agenda. Previous board minutes. Everybody looked over those. Additions or corrections? Tax appraisers report.
If you'll look at the first one, which is the M&O, we're sitting at 21.97% realized or collected, with an uncollected balance of 1.56 million left. And so we're sitting right now. You'll notice in January and February will be our massive amount. So we'll have a very large portion of ours paid in January and a very large portion paid in February. And then after that, we'll kind of taper off into the spring semester. So you'll see that jump from about 21 to probably about 60 or 70% by the end of February. On the INS side,
For December, 22% already collected.
yes, I know it's exciting. Then for our INS taxes, we've collected at 13.18%. And so we have an uncollected balance of 887,000. And so again, those numbers will go up once we hit January and February.
Monthly bill runs.
Monthly bills will be essentially the same as the check registers, just divvied out a little bit differently. Education Service Center is our contracts through the Region Center. We did pay our first quarter in taxes for the Fisher County Appraisal District.
Not in taxes, what we pay them for their services.
That's correct, yes, sir. And the same for November.
Anything on pull out the question? We good on all those, with the motion to approve?
Motion to approve consent agenda items A, B, and C.
I'll second.
Have a motion, second, consent agenda items A, B, and C. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Anything else, board closed, discussion, questions on the superintendent evaluation? Guess it would be under personnel 551-074. What time is it? 7:48. A short break.